Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christy, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy. So, it is so much fun for me to get to meet new people and to have people find me and end up on this podcast. And that's exactly what happened with Dr. Jeff Standridge. He is my new buddy, such a nice man, and yet has, well, I guess you can be a nice man and have lots of things, right? I don't mean yet. I mean that he has so much wisdom to share, and he has earned that wisdom through lots of different jobs and lots of different ways of work. And that's what I think is cool about Productive Joy is he found me because he was looking for podcasts that aligned with who he is, and Productive Joy fits. I think that we all need a little more productive joy in our lives, and I am just so honored to have the opportunity to bring that to you. He said some really awesome things, but there are a couple that I think are totally worth mentioning. The biggest one was his takeaway that he chose, and it was a different one than we talked about before we started. So, when we started, we talked about the fact that we all have a calling. And that every one of us, although we have a calling, that might not be our vocation. But when we can figure out how to marry our vocation and our calling, that's the gift. And I thought that was a beautiful thing to want to say. And he talked about it at the beginning. But then he went back and he actually dropped a beautiful nugget that I think is worth repeating. He said, failure is only failure if you quit. And I wanna land on that for a little while. So I grew up in the '70s and '80s. I was born in 1976, and I don't think I was taught that failure was an option. I think I was taught that you suck it up, you figure it out, you don't show weakness, and you do the dang thing, whatever the dang thing is. And so for my Gen X friends, you probably were raised similarly, and you have a way of work that says grind, push, do the things. But the problem with that is that you will often stray away from trying something new or different for fear you might look stupid. And what I appreciate about my Gen Z children is that they are a little more willing to try new things because they are willing to say, that didn't work. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to change. And that's my encouragement to you today is to recognize that failure is just data. First attempt in learning, I think, is FAIL, right? And the idea behind failure being information and giving us the ability to try new things is really important. It is not a sign of weakness or bad. It is actually a sign of genius because it means that you tried it. Whatever it was, you didn't just wait around for something to happen. You were willing to put yourself out there. So, today in Productive Joy, what I want you to think about is what are you facing right now that feels like a failure, that feels like it's not going the way it's supposed to, that feels like you need to do things differently or that you need to change your way of work? And I want you to focus on that a little bit. And I want you to think about what you're learning in the process. Are you learning that it's okay to make that particular mistake? Are you learning that when you make that mistake, X happens? Are you learning that because you have made that mistake, you now can open a different door? I don't know. I can't do that for you, but I can tell you that there is so much power in the idea behind failing forward, trying it, recognizing that it's not going to be perfect the first time and that that's okay. You can keep doing it, whatever it is, and eventually you're going to get it right. I think very frequently we let one mistake set us back years and we refuse to try new things because we're just so afraid of not getting it right the first time. I'm not a perfectionist by nature. But on the Enneagram, I'm a 7. I know I've told you guys that before. That makes me an enthusiastic optimist. However, a 7, when they are unhealthy, goes into being a 1. A 1 is a perfectionist, that person that is not willing to try again because they don't want to fail. They hear that voice in their head that says you're not good enough. And I am encouraging you today that whether you're a Enneagram 7 or 1, you have no idea what I mean when I say that. If you tend to listen to the voice in your head that tells you you're bad, wrong, didn't do it right, I want to encourage you to look for the joy, to look for the other voice that's telling you, actually, you can. And you just learned something, and that's worth celebrating. So, what did you learn today? What did you try that didn't go as well as you thought it would? What are you willing to try again and so that you can get even better the next time? What are you willing to do differently moving forward? It's kind of a fun thing to think about, isn't it? That we get to fail forward and we get to learn new things and we get to be better because of it. So today on Productive Joy, I just want you to think about the fact that you are getting better every single day and you are continuing to improve, and that is pretty special. I also want to remind you that I need to hear from you so that I can make this podcast exactly what you want it to be. It's starting to get some roots and get out there into the world, but I don't want to make this up. I want to be what you need and want. And an only way I can do that is for you to tell me. So reach out. You can find us on AIM with us. AIM is the name of the company that I started in 2022. And AIM with us will bring you to all of the different facets of what I do. You can also just email learning can stick or look up Productive Joy on absolutely anything. Just type my name in and you will find all kinds of stuff. Because the reality is that if you reach out to me and we can have dialogue, then I can meet your needs. I can't meet your needs unless you tell me what they are. So today on Productive Joy, I want you to think about the fact that, as Dr. Jeff said, failure is only failure if you quit. So don't quit. Just instead, figure out what you're learning from that failure and fail forward. All right. So, as always, I just want to encourage you one last time that you've got to figure out a way to turn fun into action.